Government corruption has never been more prevalent or caused more harm. It's why extremism is on the rise. It's why the financial gap between the haves and have-nots has never been wider. And it's why our planet is at risk of an extinction level tragedy. That's why I need your help to keep exposing the truth about the rot on both sides of the aisle. Become a supporter or a friend of the show today by clicking on the coffee link in the description box below. Friends of the show join me on a Zoom hangout once a month, and you guys can ask me any questions you want, and I can get to know you better. But the most important reason to help is to keep the show alive. Together, we can and will save our country and our planet. Thanks in advance and enjoy the show. Hey everyone, welcome to the show. I have an update to share about one of Trump's Capitol insurrectionists. It's time for an episode of Where Are They Now?
Ryan Bledsoe was arrested. Patrick Montgomery was in court.
Jonathan Manapa will stay in federal custody.
No, I don't take responsibility at all.
You guys may recall I recently shared news about a death list that was found in the home of Oath Keepers member Thomas Caldwell. Well, in a new court filing, Caldwell's attorney confirmed that there were two names written on his notepad, Shay Moss and Ruby Freeman. However, his attorney claims that this was just a doodle pad and that this was not a death list, but this was just a place where Caldwell jotted down random thoughts. So Caldwell is trying to say that the words death list, which were written in all caps, by the way, at the top of the page, had nothing to do with Moss and Freeman. And his attorney noted that the words death list and the women's names were separated by other, quote, scribbled writing and were clearly written with a different pen. And then the attorney also alleges that the various items could be traced back to different dates. So clearly, he says the thoughts were just random. They weren't written at the same time. What purpose is there to write death list on a piece of paper? Seriously, was he writing himself a reminder to draft a death list in the future? Oh, gotta remind myself. I got to get to that list eventually. And what's his excuse for writing down the names of Moss and Freeman? You know, those are the two women you guys probably remember who were subjected to many death threats. They were totally harassed. They actually had to flee their homes and shut down their businesses because of Trump supporters. So merely coincidental? Yeah. Also, in a new court filing, Caldwell's attorneys have asked the judge to allow evidence of his weakness and his frailty at his trial. And no, I'm not kidding. His attorneys acknowledged that his Facebook posts make Caldwell, quote, sound like a person capable and intent on doing great violence. When in reality, they claim that he's actually a really fragile flower who couldn't possibly have caused any harm on January 6th, even if he wanted to. The attorneys wrote, quote, evidence of Caldwell's physical condition is relevant to demonstrate to the jury that he was incapable of engaging in the macho acts he mused about in private messages on Facebook. So at trial, they want to try to introduce evidence of Caldwell's numerous surgeries, which include a lower back fusion, a total hip replacement, and a left arm that he had surgically screwed to his shoulder, apparently. And they want to call his wife and other witnesses to testify about his alleged inability to run or jump and his difficulty in climbing stairs and how he frequently has to use a cane to walk. In the filing, they said, quote, Caldwell's debilitations belie that he had the physical strength to engage in combat, assaultive behavior, ferrying heavy weapons to others, or that he could even stand up on a boat in the choppy waters of the Potomac River. What a referendum on the oath breakers, huh? But let me remind you guys of what Caldwell is actually accused of doing on January 6th. Among other things, which furthered the alleged conspiracy to overthrow the government, Caldwell allegedly marched from Trump's speech at the Ellipse to the Capitol. It's my understanding that that's about a 1-mile walk. And to my knowledge, he didn't have a cane when he made that long walk. He's also accused of storming police barricades and climbing up a set of stairs to a Capitol balcony. In fact, He sent a message at 2:48 that day, and he wrote, quote, "We are surging forward, doors breached." Well, let's just say, for the sake of argument that he is frail, he's this physically broken man, he can barely move. Doesn't the right always argue that a gun is the great equalizer and that's why women need to carry? You can't have it both ways. Either a gun makes you powerful and it gives you control over a situation regardless of who you are and how frail you might be, or if you happen to be a 60-something-year-old man with disabilities, a gun is useless. So which is it? Unless his arms were broken that day, he could still pick up a gun and shoot. Anyway, guys, I'll keep you posted. Thanks so much for watching. Take care, and I'll talk with you soon.